So there was an image that I saw on Twitter the other day that I actually think is pretty interesting to dissect because time and time again I have seen consoles that are in the handheld market always say they're going to try and kill, whatever handheld that Nintendo offers, like the Game Boy, the DS, the 3DS, and now the Nintendo Switch. Now, I was looking at this post right here that I'm going to put on the screen right now, talking about all the previous iterations of handhelds from other companies that have quote unquote made a claim or they brought a discussion that it was going to kill one of Nintendo's platforms. And what I find kind of amazing about this is the type of hardware that Nintendo has. So, strap in and we are going to talk about this. Hello, my name is Double Pulse and welcome back to a brand new video. And today I kind of want to talk about this interesting subject. As you guys seen the photo, but I want to talk about why. Why do I think that Nintendo's products can't really be killed? There's two big reasons why I think it amazes me. Now, when we talk about it's going to kill a platform, I don't believe it's ever going to kill a platform. I just think it's going to offer different experiences, right? When you get a Nintendo Switch, you get the Nintendo Switch for whatever the system offers you, and a lot of it comes down to their exclusives and just the way that the system is built and the type of experience you're going for. Like, a lot of people are talking if the Steam Deck is going to kill the Nintendo Switch. And I'm just going to say, no, it won't. However, for certain people who have been playing on PC gaming for a while, who bought a Nintendo Switch because there wasn't any viable, platform that you can take on the go with you on PC, they opted for Switch because it's a portable device. You can play with it docked or you can play with it handheld. And I think that's sort of like now that's going to be a Switch replacement for diehard PC users. Now, it's not going to kill the Switch because to say it's going to kill the Switch is outright stupid. That would basically mean that once the Steam Deck arrives, all sales on the Nintendo Switch are just going to start dropping like flies. And everyone's going to go pick up a Steam Deck, which is not going to be the case. Nintendo has two things in their boat that I think make them very unique. And this is why I think it's kind of amazing to me. One, we talk about the exclusives. You have Nintendo's exclusives like Mario, Zelda, all these other exclusives, which, yes, you can play them on other platforms. But the way they're specifically designed and the way they're specifically meant to be played, if you had no problems, if you have no what's the word I'm looking for? No intentions on tinkering around with shit, making sure emulators work properly, you're not going to buy the Steam Deck to replace your Nintendo Switch. In fact, what's going to likely happen is your Steam Deck's going to be the supplement to play games that you cannot play on Steam, you cannot play on your Switch, or games that the Nintendo Switch does a poor job of bringing over to that platform, that they have poor frame rates and poor performance in general. So playing stuff on the Steam Deck is going to be a lot better, because you're getting the 60 FPS, you're getting a little bit of bigger console, you get the ability to dock when you buy the dock. The Steam Deck is, honestly, for me, it's going to be my main go-to device for PC gaming. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to replace my Switch entirely, but it is going to retire a lot of the components of why I got a Switch in the first place. Now, the other thing I always find amazing about posts like these is the hardware aspect, because time and time again, all these platforms have said that have always had somewhat better hardware than Nintendo's platforms, right? Time and time again, we've always seen when it comes to the hardware side and the specs, Nintendo gets the short end of the stick, right? Like, you can get a PS4 or an Xbox One and play some high-quality games, but then you buy the Switch, you might be playing those high-quality games at a lower setting, or you're not going to get a port at all. So what I find amazing with this is, for this post to say that it's going to kill the Switch, I think it's fascinating how all these attempts have tried to quote unquote kill Nintendo platforms, and Nintendo platforms are definitely unique in that case, where the hardware doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot, like in terms of hardware specs. Now, hardware specs, they do things a lot different. Like, when I talk about hardware, I always think of hardware for Nintendo Switch like, what are the different ways that you can utilize your console to play with different types of gaming experiences? For example, on the Switch, you can play, Ring Fit Adventure and work out. You can connect one Joy-Con and use that as a controller. You can, dock it. You can play with it in portable or tabletop mode using a touchscreen. There's so many use case scenarios for the Switch that they did not let the hardware stop them from making a really good platform, despite some of the obvious issues that Nintendo has with the Nintendo eShop and their online service. But I'll save that for an entirely different video. But for the actual specs and its design, no one has ever quote unquote killed the platform. I would say the only platform that was very close to being dead on arrival or sold very little units was the Wii U. But the Wii did extremely well. GameCube did extremely well. N64. All these platforms have done relatively good to keep them in business. And their IPs, like the Mario, Zeldas, and all this other stuff, had already been their moneymakers. So that's just my take on it. I don't think any console is going to quote-unquote kill it. But what I do think is that depending on the type of gamer you are, and if you've been playing PC games for a while, the Steam Deck is going to go and become a good, viable option to replace your PC gaming experience on the go, on the couch, or just if you just want a more comfortable, easier way of playing your games in certain senses. Anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinions on it. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. If you guys enjoy these type of discussions, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.